Jerks had a little 2-week hiatus. My name is Anson Wells. I'm joined here by Brandon Kaz. By the way, that's not Brandon Katz. To clear up any confusion that any of you guys might have. And we got a new TD today. Jeff Walker, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Shout out Jeff.
Good.
Welcome, pal.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We have a new TD going forward, is what I should have said. So we're happy to have you, my friend. All right, I've got my earphone finally working here, and we got the Bomber.
What's up, guys?
Basically sitting on top of both Woodward fantasy leagues, the Woodward Network League, the Fantasy Jerks League. We'll talk a little more about that later on. But, gentlemen, how was your fantasy week? How's your weekend?
My weekend was just fine, Anson. How was your weekend, Anson?
Well, I've been 3-3 each week through 5 weeks, and this week I finally wasn't. I was 2-4.
Wow.
My goodness.
I teeter. I go like 4-0, and then I go 1-3, and then 3-1, and just,
I'd kill for a winning week.
it's just such a wild year.
And
we'll be talking about it.
The first week, all green, ladies and gentlemen. I won every single league that I'm in this week. This is one
How many
of
you
those
got on
weeks.
that sleeper apple? It looked like
Five.
5. Yeah.
5. Well, I was in
Solid.
3. I was nice and comfortable in my 3 leagues, and then I joined 2 Woodward leagues now. So now I got.
I
too
was
much to
nice and
handle.
comfortable in my 4 leagues as well.
Am I an asshole when somebody asks me to join a league and it's not in sleeper, and I'm like,
Right.
and
finally
then I
got all
lie
mine
and I'm
in
like, I
sleeper.
just don't like you. That's why I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and it takes people a year to buy into sleep.
Yeah.
The first year, what is it? It's like it looks like Web 3.0 to a lot of people. Like they just don't get it. For me, it's pretty great. But my big thing right now is I have so many leagues. I don't know where to start, so I don't.
Yeah.
And in the past, like I've always, for years, decades. Oh, Pete Spivak in the building. Pistol Pete, Pinball Pete. Good to see a Woodward alum
Anson,
here.
6 is too much.
6 is too
It's
much.
too
and
much.
to be honest with you, I hope they're not watching, and he'd be pissed if I revealed this. Okay, I won't say his name. You know him, but I am drafting for my buddy who knows nothing about sports. We're sitting on top of the league. That league I care about more than
Is he
any
named
other.
after an arachnid?
Stop it. How did you know that? How did you know
I know
that?
things and stuff.
All right. Well, listen, guys, we are going to keep it a lot more light going forward. We're not going to press you with statistics. We're going to jerk it with you. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to do. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to
Yeah, we're going to have a real circle jerk here.
That is, we are going to have a fantasy circle jerk here. But listen, guys, we want to get on a serious end for a second. We are powered by fantasypoints.com. This is the premier fantasy analytic site out there. And as
Who do we got this week?
Well, this week we have one of the biggest guys in the game. Before I mention his name, though, you see that code word at the top, Woodward. Put that in when you check out. You're going to save 10% off. I promise you, everyone here, we all have this plan. It is unbelievable. There's no shortage of information and tools. However, we have the great Scott Barrett
Yes.
joining us today.
Fan for a long time.
Yeah, Scott
Listened
Barrett.
to many a pod. read
Absolutely
many
one of the
articles.
biggest names in fantasy sports. He'll be joining us at 8 o'clock.
It's kind of a big deal, Anson.
I was quite excited when I got the news today. So, but you know, there's some other exciting news,
Is there?
and it's on your end.
Oh, what?
You have a new little Kaz
Yes.
popping out here in a few
I
weeks.
do. This
Boy,
this
girl?
just in. It's a boy.
You have 2 girls.
Little baby Baligian.
I have 2 girls. Yeah, yep. And
You got their protector finally.
yeah, 6.5 years younger. But yeah,
Do we have a name?
protector. We don't have a name. We need your help. So
Chuba Kazmarek.
That's a great one.
Chuba's not bad.
Chuba's solid.
Chuba's not.
Actually, we should challenge the chat. Do you have some
challenge the
names
chat?
for the newest young Kaz on the way? I'd love to hear some of the names that the chat has.
Yeah,
In
me
fact,
too.
if they're fantasy football themed names, I bet there's something out there.
Oh, jeez. LeBrandon.
Are you taking double
LeBrandon
names
Tofield
hyphenated?
was.
What did you say,
I
Brendan?
said, are you taking double names hyphenated? Maybe like
Hey,
little
hey,
Rico
look,
Dowdle
look.
There's no
Kaz.
rules here.
There's no rules.
There's
Rico
no rules
Dowdle
here.
Kaz.
There's no
That's
rule.
a good name, right?
Well,
there.
now see, I had something different. In fact, I think this might be the winner. I was going to save it to the end, but since you beat me to it there, Rico Vidal Kazmarek.
Okay. It's not
Rico
terrible.
Vidal Kazmarek.
Yeah. Okay.
I might change my name to Rico Vidal. I mean, it's sexy.
That's a great name.
You tell a girl that in Miami, you know you're getting her number.
It's a league-winning type name.
It is I will, man. I wish I could share this kid's roster week 1 to what it is now. It's all trash. It's all waiver wire pickups, and somehow he's 3-3 and traded for 2 first-round draft picks. One of them, Jordan Mason, which we spoke about a few weeks ago. And I think we were all correct in the assessment that that was a terrible trade from the guy that gave up those picks to get Jordan Mason. We haven't talked about him much at all.
Yeah, I mean 1 week, but
What about some other names? How about Cleet Kazmarek? I think that the alliteration right
dude,
there.
This is
you love
this
Cleet.
is still.
You love Cleet.
Look, the cheating Chiefs and the NFL bailing out the damn Chiefs in Andy Reid's fantastic mustache. The only man I don't hate on that team.
Kelsey Kazmarek?
Intolerable. God.
Kelsey
Anson.
Kazmarek.
How
Alliteration.
dare you.
But it would be a guy. It wouldn't be like Kelsey Grammer, man's name.
You mean
Kelsey Kazmarek.
Sideshow Bob?
Maximilian Biggins, shout out Biggins, sitting on top of the league right now, as he told us he would be.
Thanks for joining, Biggins.
Brendan, you got some names over there?
Top of the league? Yeah, I do. Let me get you right here. I know top of the league is Biggins. Number 2 is yours truly.
Oh, I wasn't going for that. I'm talking about baby names. We got a graphic for that later on. You got some.
We
baby
can
names.
continue.
I
Let's
kinda like
let's
the
get our
alliteration. I kind of like Kobe Kazmarek.
Ooh, that's
maybe
solid.
a little
Bomber
Kobe
Kazmarek?
Bryant, R.I.P. Bomber Kazmarek.
more like
would work.
Chauncey.
Chauncey Kazmarek.
Chauncey.
You'll
That's
get
a
no
great
fight
name
from
right
me.
there.
Yeah.
You got any? Oh, he's on the phone over here, getting technical insights. Wow, we could throw around some more names all day long. Cletus Kazmarek is solid.
Yeah, except I think that Cleet Blakeman's
I like an old '60s name, like an
Me
old
too.
athlete.
Reggie?
Cleet.
Ted,
Reggie?
Fred, Frank, Jim,
No,
Bill.
nothing
Al.
common. More like a
Chip.
throwback, like Earl Kazmarek.
Earl. Earl's got, I mean, it's got panache, doesn't it?
It's got got some swagger to it.
Well, you know what, Anson? I'm really excited
Eric?
about engagement in the chat this year. This episode, I'm really excited that we're going to be focusing more on the questions from the chat.
We are. In fact, I want you guys to get all of your questions in order. We will allow you guys to ask a few of the final questions that we have along with Scott Barrett in those few final minutes. And then for 30 minutes after that, we will be taking more questions. What else did you want them to get ready aside from their questions?
Their questions, I want them to get ready to start and sits and trade recommendations. Ask us who you want to trade. You know, should you trade for this? Should you trade for that? And your start and sits. I don't know if Anson can help you out over here with how he's been doing in these fantasy leagues, but the rest of us got you.
Look, this is the bottom line. This is the only fantasy football show with a live chat, right?
Pretty much,
you know,
yeah.
if there are other ones, let's just pretend they copied.
They
off
don't
of us.
matter.
Right. So this is a unique opportunity for you folks at home, your mothers, your friends, whomever, to ask questions about your fantasy teams. I mean, how's your mom's fantasy team doing?
My mom has a lot of fantasy questions.
Yeah. So bring it.
All right. So let's talk about surprises. We all know who my biggest disappointment is. We'll get to those. But your biggest surprises, guys, that just came out of nowhere. We mentioned 2 of them in Vidal and in the other guy, Rico, who is on all of this guy's teams. Rico. I'm going to say it should be Rick Dowdle or Rico Dowdell.
You can't disrespect his name now after back-to-back 200
But
yards.
his parents disrespected his name. It's Rick Dowdle or Rico Dowdell.
I'm adding Rick to the baby name list.
There you go. Well, Rico, I mean, come on. Rico Kazmarek is solid. All right.
That is very solid.
Brendan, hit us with some of your top surprises on the season.
My surprises on the season, a guy that I was really surprised that he would be this good. RIP to his name, but Emeka Egbuka just coming out and being, I mean, we all thought that he was going to be okay, like maybe not okay. Thought he was going to be good. Thought he was going to be the wide receiver 2 on your team, not the wide receiver 3 in the overall league. I mean, when he comes back, he's going to be winning leagues for people. And I was just shocked. I have Mike Evans everywhere. I was kind of not fading him, but not chasing him as much as some other people were.
And when he got up into the 5th round, I think for many people it was a little too pricey, considering he was approaching Tet territory. But that being said, that would have been great value. I was able to give him a couple places. I'm excited about that. I'm not excited that he's going to miss this week. But stud, wheels up.
Indiana Jones should be at the top of every single
Colts as a
surprise
whole,
list.
yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. It's shocking right now seeing they're the number 1 seed in the AFC. Shocking.
Absolutely wild.
And they're in the top 3 of everybody's power rankings right now. I don't know if they're actually that good, but right now Daniel Jones he's a wide receiver or quarterback 1. He's got a wide receiver 1 that he's throwing it to. He's created a tight end 1, and he's got the best running back right now. So beyond the NFL implications,
do you remember our conversation from the preseason, the final one? We were saying, hey, which guy from the 2nd round do we think could finish as the running back 1 with Theo, right?
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor was kind of the consensus.
Yeah, and we'll get into my disappointments, but I took somebody in the 2nd round over Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, you did.
Far too
I did
often
as well.
this
I
season.
took people over John Taylor way too often.
I'm
Yeah.
blaming you, Anson. That's the bottom line.
I am worthy of blame right now. But listen, Daniel Jones, this is a guy that, as much as you talk about, their record and whether it's fraudulent or not, you've got this guy on your team. You're starting him week in and week out, and you finally have confidence in the entire Colts supporting staff that you can start them. You can start Pittman. You can start a rookie tight end, and obviously nobody's taking Jonathan Taylor out of their lineup.
Yeah, but there's a bigger story overall than the Colts are fantastic, right? But I think what's going on right now is something strange. It hasn't happened in a few years in fantasy football. And we kind of touched on it in the preseason with Theo, is that we weren't drafting quarterback early this year, and we were saying this is a J.J. Zacharyson type late-round quarterback type of year. And this is what's happened. The top 12 quarterbacks currently in fantasy football, out of those top 12, only 3 of them were picked in the first 8 rounds. That's Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Hurts. Now, the other 9 are out of, they're by definition late round quarterbacks. It's a wild year. I don't know if things are going to stay that way, but it sure looks like it is.
Every year people, it's such a weird year. This does feel like
this is a weird year.
Than normal.
This hasn't happened.
Even just for the NFL in general. I mean, you see the Titans of the league, Ravens are in the dumps, Chiefs teams don't have a winning record that are usually at the top of the league.
Washington's having a tough time, right?
How about Javonte?
Yeah, Javonte
feel about
is
that.
That was the next guy that I was going to bring up. I mean, I talked about it as just grabbing him as a late round guy that I was attacking just because he had the potential of being an RB1, but now being a every week starter as your RB1 on your fantasy team is crazy.
Well, he's the league winner for now. He's going to be on a lot of championship teams should he continue this pace. He's been exceptional.
Yeah, and that team, they have to keep scoring points because their defense gives them up left and right. And
that's right.
They've got to stay in games, but they've got an offense that's able to do it. Whether it's
and they are doing it without their number one weapon
unit or not. Yeah, obviously without CD, he continues.
CD did walkthroughs on Tuesday. He was in practice today, running route.
I need him.
That's only going to help him, I
routes.
think. I mean, opening that passing game up the running game, that's not going to hurt him.
It's almost a mixed blessing that they were able to get out of this, with more wins than losses, I believe. Right? No, I think they were 500 during the season.
Tie.
Yeah, right. But for them to be able to incorporate, to get Ferguson rolling, number one. Number two, to get Pickens.
Ferguson
absolutely balling out.
He's
Your boy,
on this
Bomber.
list for me as well.
Yeah, but
a guy that you knew was good, that you've seen him be,
Sure.
A top 8, 9, 10
Sure.
tight end. But the fact that they're getting Pickens into the lineup and still using him, whether CD's healthy or not, this guy,
11th round,
top
Jake
5
Ferguson.
tight end.
Right. Like, his price was too cheap this
Him
year.
and Tyler Warren, if you were
Yeah.
able to wait and get one of those two guys instead of spending money on Brendan's favorite, Mr. Bowers or
Mine and Kittle and yeah,
Kittle.
it's just-
Kittle hurting a
name it,
lot
just-
of people.
yeah.
Unless you took
But
McBride.
Kittle's doing walkthroughs today.
Yeah, that'd be nice to get him back
So
this week
yeah,
as well.
that you know what, Anson, that will be nice.
How about Scatabo Kazmarek?
That's what I was gonna.
Scatabo?
I was gonna bring up.
Scatabo
Can I ask you a question, guys? Is it Scatabo or Scataboo?
It's Boo. It is.
I think it's
but
whatever you please at the moment.
you,
Like, it's-
you're right
it's
about
fun-
that.
it's
You
fun to
could
say
call him
either way.
Scat for short.
Hey, do you guys remember going to music festivals, Anson? This would be a question more for you. And then there would be.
You mean like this summer? Actually, you guys know I'm a big Electric Forest fan. Justin and I go every year. This guy was at the first two when they were called the Rothbury back in 08
right.
and 09.
Yeah. Well, speaking of scat, oftentimes at these events things get really gnarly.
Yes, they do.
And there was something called the Mad Scatter that you had to worry about.
You do. Boof.
But he's
that
scatting
shit.
all over the league.
Boof that shit.
Why running back 10?
I mean, the guy just Mr.
Feels higher
CTE
than that
is
right now.
so fun to watch. Mr. CTE is kind of what we've all been waiting for, is that throwback iron head. Like, he just looks like All-Star with some actual wheels back there.
And moves.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dante 151. What about JSN being a possible number one option in fantasy football, because he has been balling his mind out in Seattle as the main option, not Cooper Kupp? $5 super chat from one of our
Is he saying he wants me to
original
name my son
legends.
Jason, spelled JSN?
Jaxon with
That
an
could be
X.
a great one.
Yeah, well, you could call him JSN or Dart. It doesn't matter. But Dante 151, great question. We are going to get into that with Scott Barrett when he comes on here in about 12 minutes. Ferguson, Scatabo, Javante, Daniel Joe up here from Biggins. He said, I thought Abguka was Amon-Ra 2.0. Electric Boogaloo. That's why I drafted him. What other names you guys got on your surprise list?
I got Tyler Warren just from the tight end position. I mean, we talked a little bit
It
about
wasn't
the
a
Colts, we
surprise
kinda
here.
Skipped over him.
But around fantasy circles
Right,
for
but
sure.
even, I mean, I have him in some places. In some places, I had him and Brock Bowers on the same team. And I made a little nickname that he was Brock Bowers Jr. And Brock Bowers wishes he was freaking Tyler Warren Jr. right now.
Yeah.
Looking at how they're playing.
And it's still surprising when you.
We are officially into disappointments.
Yeah.
That's the segue right there.
Well, but back to Warren. It's still surprising when you think somebody does something, you predict it's going to happen, but then it happens. It's nice. It's
Well,
rewarding.
in that type of position, it doesn't typically happen at. Like, we saw Brock Bowers, Braylon and I talked about him all last year, said he was the best prospect in the draft regardless of position. We knew what he was coming out. Tyler Warren, clearly one of the top two guys. I think, I'm blanking on the kid's name from Michigan, but he took some shade
Loveland.
away. Loveland, who's not been anywhere on fantasy
not on the same
list this year.
level-
Shout
not
out
on the
Pete Spivak, my man. Good to see you, my friend. But yeah, when you have a tight end come in and do it their first year, and it's somebody that you think is going to be good, thinks going to contribute, but does what he's done.
Right.
But let's skip right over Tyler Warren to the people that knew about Harold Fannin, because now with the news that Njoku could be missing a week or two, Fannin could be huge. Come on up here, Pete. Come give me some love.
Where'd I go to school?
That's right, Bowling Green, Mr. Bowling Green, right here. Pete Spivak, alumni here from Woodward.
yeah, nice to meet you,
And,
Brandon.
This is one of our card guys. In fact, at 9 o'clock right now, I will be pausing the show while you guys are here so I can get that Spider-Man 1966 rookie card.
Talking some tight end, Bowling Green tight end.
We are talking Bowling Green tight ends. Perfect time for you. Harold Fannin Jr., son of former Harold Fannin. Tell us a little bit about Harold Fannin as you are a Bowling Green
Well,
alumni.
we all know the great Braylon Edwards, who I used to. Thank you very much, appreciate it. We all know the great Braylon Edwards, who Braylon Edwards show here 2 to 4 on Woodward Sports. His former coach, Eric Campbell, who now is coaching at Michigan, was the wide receivers coach at Bowling Green, and he trained Harold Fannin Jr.
Interesting.
And that's why Harold Fannin Jr. beat out with Tyler Lawrence, the tight end for the Colts.
Yeah.
He beat him out not for the overall tight end title, but the secondary tight end title.
Yeah.
So Lawrence didn't take both titles.
Didn't he have like 90 catches or
He had
80 something
he
catches?
was the offense because
Yeah.
it's MAC football.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously
sure.
it's Division I football, but it's low end Division I football. But he's good enough to make. When you have a coach like Eric Campbell, again, who's now at Michigan,
Yeah.
Coach Braylon Edwards made Braylon Edwards who Braylon Edwards is. Where's the I'm sorry. Made
Oh, no,
Braylon
here, stay here, sorry.
Made Braylon Edwards who he is. That's why Harold Fannin Jr. is so good, and he's going to put David Njoku out of a job.
Oh.
And not only that, he's going to become pretty much like a poster child. He and Lawrence are pretty much going to be the new tight end superstars of the league. Your Hawkinson and Kelsey's are on the way out. It's now going to be Fannin.
I love
Okay,
that.
bold call.
And we
Bold call.
love the
Thanks.
visit from our alumni here, buddy. It's good to see you, man. Check him out. Where are you at? What's your channel?
Repeat resale on eBay. And
Repeat-
repeat again on YouTube.
There you go, man. Check 'em out.
Woodward Sports here, and check out Woodward Sports. I love my boys.
Hey, Dante 151 loved you. He said he missed seeing you
Oh,
there
Miss
as
Dante!
well. And Disabled Danny, be honest, how many times have you tripped? Not a question I can answer here, but listen, both those guys, I think Fannon's the future there. That's a guy that probably should have been on our list of surprises, but I want to come back to Brock Bowers as a guy that I was hanging a lot of hopes on. I have him in
Yes.
both of my dynasty leagues. The biggest problem for me is Geno Smith. And the way that new offensive coordinator
God, Chip
is,
Kelly sucks. I mean, remember that?
well, and the thing was, is
They just look
Brock Bowers was
discordant.
the focus of that offense. Now he's been taken off as a focus. There's more two tight end sets, and your quarterback loves throwing it to the sideline. He doesn't
I mean,
want to throw
Chip's
it
the
up.
kind of asshole that comes in. Like, if he became, for some reason, like the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, he probably wouldn't get the ball to Gibbs and Amon-Ra, too.
I just do not understand this from a football perspective. I mean, you see this in the NFL with not just the Raiders, not just Chip Kelly. It happens across the league where you just take yourself at a disadvantage by not using your talented
It's
players.
a lot more simple than people give it credit for, I think, to a certain extent. Get the ball to good players, period.
Period. Right. And Brock Bowers, you can't just use him as a regular tight end. He is not a tight end. He is a playmaker for your offense.
That's right.
This just popped into my head watching Monday Night Football the other night. I was watching the Falcons put the beat down on the Buffalo Bills. You know what I thought to
Told you they
myself
weren't dead,
is
Anson.
Arthur Smith is... He should be named Arthur Sith because he's a freaking Sith Lord that has dark magic that sucks the fun out of every team that he's on. Because you see these Falcons, when they're using their, oh my God, it's Michael Penix to Bijan to Drake London, not to Darnell Mooney and Tyler Algier and Jonnu Smith. No. When
The
you
single
use your
redeeming
good
factor about
players-
Arthur Smith is the mustache.
Right,
And
that is a single redeeming factor.
however, that being said, you're absolutely right, Bomber. The Atlanta, they're coming together, right? It's real simple. They have a very simple formula. Get the ball to two playmakers on offense. They have 2.5 playmakers. Pitts is getting a little more involved. What, tight end
Right.
15 or something? Not fantastic.
But back to Bowers, like that's just how you
Get him the
have
ball.
to use your best players. You have
That's
to
right.
get him the ball. You have to use him like a wide receiver. You have to put him in the slot. I know Geno Smith doesn't like targeting the natural tight ends like that in his career, so you accommodate to that. This is how you're going to win games. They're finding it out with Genty a little bit now, even though that might just be Genty bouncing off people like a pinball machine like he is. Every time you watch that guy run, you hope that he just stays alive for the next couple years. But Brock Bowers, man, this is so disappointing for everyone's fantasy teams out there. I took him everywhere. If you cannot tell by this monologue, I just can't stand it what they're doing to the guy, and I feel bad for him. I know he's hurt now, and that's on him, and rest up and come back. But, man, they just did not do you right in the beginning of the season, Brock. It's not your fault, buddy.
It's too bad young Ryan's not with us anymore as TD because in a tight end focused league, the young man took Brock Bowers, I believe, with pick number 13.
And that's probably a great pick, I would have told you before the season, too.
Yeah. Painful.
How about a running back trio highlighted by a guy who lost his quarterback? I'm not going to say he's bad yet, but Chase Brown crushed me in a lot of leagues. I have him in both dynasty leagues. I drafted him early in too many leagues. But I think that you can lump him in with Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley right now. Am I jumping?
I'd put him a tier below. Trace Brown.
Oh, no. He's the worst. But those two guys, where they were drafted, feeling like busts and disappointments right now, or you guys feel okay with those two? Are you trading for those guys, or are you trying to get rid of them?
Go ahead first, Brandon.
No, if you took them, you're in trouble because of where you took
Yes.
them. So
Facts.
the guys that took Chase Brown, I'm
Disappointing.
one of them in one league. the guys that took Saquon Barkley that didn't hit the rest of the draft, and the guys that took Derrick Henry. His asking price was a little bit, but you guys are in pain, right? You took him as your running back one. And coming into the season, we talked about the potential for them to ramp down Saquon with his 400 touch season. It's happening.
Yeah, well,
I think he's healthy, but they're just not. He's not getting the touches.
No, they're not giving him the touches, and a lot of it seems like the offensive line is not what it was 2 years ago, or even what it was last year.
Lane Johnson looks like shit.
Well, and they're not really throwing the ball. So where are these touches going? Because they're 4-1. I don't, or 5-1, right? I don't get what's going on in Philly right now.
Are they 4-2?
4-2.
They
They
just
are?
lost
Okay.
two
Yeah.
straight.
Two straight.
Yeah, they the offense looks terrible. It looks uncreative. The defense is giving up big plays. Zadarius Smith just retired. They don't have a pass rush. Nakobe Dean is coming back, but the cornerback duo of Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell.
Quinyon went out last game too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, this I don't know, like
I
they
broke this
look
story-
pretty rough. I do think they're going to get it together. They just have such a strong pass performance.
They always have locker room issues too.
That's where I was going. I broke a story last year that I have from a pretty strong source. We've gone back and forth as to who it is because Devontae, after the fact, had his captainship stripped from him. But the word is that A.J. Brown slept with Jalen Hurts' wife. And that happened at the end of 2 years ago when they went from the best team in the league to just crashing out, losing in the first round of the playoffs. First half of the season last year, they were ready to fire their coach, or at least fans were. Then it all comes together. But now, again, you're seeing it. Just like he said, the locker room, that both wide receivers aren't happy. Saquon's not going to be one to complain, but they're not going to win if Saquon doesn't get his.
Right, and Biggins in the chat with a great point here. Hubris thinking guys who went for 2,000 yards, 350-plus touches wouldn't have a huge drop. That's a big thing there. These guys at that age getting that much touches the year before.
We warned you.
There's a touch number. It's 350. And the amount of guys that have come back from 350 touches to have top 10 years after that, they're few and far between. It's like AP.
Theo and I warned you flat out.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Derek, we warned you about Derek in that how many consecutive years with 320 touches or whatever.
But yet, Christian McCaffrey has not succumbed to that because he was on the shelf all last year. Didn't have the touches that he did the year before, and then suffers an injury. Hopefully, Saquon and Henry both stay healthy.
What's San Francisco's? They're really surprising.
All right,
so with the amount of injuries.
So we're creeping up here, and we actually have our guy, Scott Barrett, on the phone. And my very last name on this list is somebody that we're going to talk about with Scott Barrett, the CEO and owner of FantasyPoints.com. Welcome in, my friend. Welcome to Woodward Sports and the Fantasy Jerks. How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we're just talking. We're talking some, disappointments and some surprises. But before we get into the first one, I do got to hit you up and ask you a few questions. When did you start playing fantasy football?
When did I start playing?
Yeah, what year? Or how old were you?
I was
you don't
maybe
have to
11
date
years
yourself.
old.
11, wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
my stepdad got me into it. It was a live draft with all of his buddies, and I just fell in love with it. I loved all the trash talking. They treated me like an adult, and I got to hear all that. And so, yeah, really fell in love with it, and I've been playing ever since.
Do you remember your first draft pick?
I don't remember my first draft pick, but I remember the second pick was Lavernius Coles, who was horrible that year. And then someone took Tiki Barber in the 5th round and just got ruthlessly trashed for that pick because Tiki was like 31 and he had 9 fumbles the previous season, and then he was like the best pick you could have made. So right there, I embraced a sort of core philosophy that you want to be a contrarian drafter. It's those picks, the ones you get laughed at, that really wind up being some of your best picks. For instance, this year I was all in on Cam Scatterbo, and I could not get anyone else on board with that. I was getting trashed for it. And yeah, that looks like one of the best picks you could have made.
Feeling real good about that right now. Now, how long did it take you to win your first championship?
Probably the third year I played. And then there was a nice little dynastic run of dominance. Except for my own personal home league, where everyone drafts off of my rankings. I haven't won that in like 10 years. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Yeah, Priest Holmes was my first. My fourth year I won it, and then I repeated. But my first championship, 16-0. You were in that league.
Yeah, I believe so.
You ever had a perfect league?
I don't think so. That's really impressive.
Yeah, I won the last game 100-99 because David Patton didn't catch any balls in the second half. I know you got something for him, Brandon.
Yeah, I think I only lost one last year in my dynasty league, and I'm undefeated this year.
But you always dump at least one.
Yeah, but my first pick was Randall Cunningham.
Nice.
Yeah, 1-1 overall. It was
those
1990.
were newspaper drafts.
Tore his ACL in the first game in Green Bay.
Man.
Learned a hard lesson about fantasy football. The original Konami code quarterback.
Well, a lot of people in fantasy have been learning a hard lesson about Jameson Williams. Obviously, this Detroit Lions offense has been pretty dynamic for any player that you're drafting from the Lions. Can you talk about this quiet week that this offense had, even though you saw Jamo kind of pop up again, and just talk about where you saw them in the beginning of the season, where you see them now, and are you worried about their offense at all?
No, I wouldn't say I'm worried. Probably not at all. A lot of people heading into this season were expecting a pretty significant step back without Ben Johnson. And us at Fantasy Points, we kind of went against the grain on that, where, I entertained the possibility that, they could maybe even be better. But more likely than not, just really expecting a very minimal step down at all. Because people were forgetting that Dan Campbell really plays a big role in the play calling, and he always has. Ben Johnson got a lot of the credit for turning Jared Goff into, this guy who's, a top 5 quarterback by any number you want to look at every year. But if you look back to that first season when Anthony Lynn got fired and Dan Campbell called plays throughout the second half, that was really when Jared Goff became this new Jared Goff. Over that sample was top 3 in passer rating, right up there with any season from Ben Johnson. So yeah, I didn't expect a significant step back. And part of that too was, I was buying into the hype you heard around Jameson Williams taking that next step. And I hearing that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to get more work and more volume. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great for the guy who just led the league in EPA per run and is also, was touted as the best pass catcher since Alvin Kamara coming out of college. But what's interesting is neither of those things really have come to fruition. It's Jameson Williams is the guy he's sort of always been, where he's just a very high ADOT, very low target rate, even lower first read target rate wide receiver. And Jahmyr Gibbs, yeah, he is getting that work, but he's nowhere near as efficient as he was last year. It's weird. I think we could speculate that maybe he put on extra weight. He bulked up for the increased workload. And I don't think he's lost speed, but I think maybe he's lost quickness. You could also put this on the offensive line, losing Ragnow, and you're getting someone back this week. But yeah, it hasn't really mattered too much. I don't think, maybe you guys are spoiled and you look at the loss, you're coming off of the loss against the Chiefs, but no, I still think this is easily one of the best offenses in football. And yeah, I still have really high hopes. And, the fact that you can be this high powered, when Jahmyr Gibbs isn't throwing his fastball and the Jameson breakout hasn't happened, and you're barely seeing Isaac Tesla, who looks like the best per target receiver of all time. I think this Lions offense is awesome.
I wouldn't say spoiled. They just let us out of the house 3 years ago for the first time. But it feels pretty good to have a great offense.
For sure. But do we feel like maybe the Lions kind of needed to lose that game?
I think it's a good loss for them, certainly. I guess my question from a fantasy perspective, though, is last year you saw Sam Laporta disappear, and you saw Jamo really have that big year. Now it kind of seems like the opposite. I just don't feel that the way that this team is constructed with the running game, with the premier receiver in Amon-Ra, that we'll ever have a season where both of those two have a huge season, unless something were to happen to Amon-Ra.
Yeah, well, on Sam Laporta, I people, it was a bad year for him last year. I really just think he was hurt, and he came into the season hurt. He picked up that ankle in week 2 or week 3, and then it took him a while to get fully healthy. But you saw that over his last 5-7 weeks of the season, including the playoffs, he was right back to where he was as a rookie. I think part of what happened, you're saying this was maybe it was a good thing that this happened. I think also part of this. And you see this with the Lions. You really see it with Jared Goff. Jared Goff is one of the most home road sensitive quarterbacks in all of football. Like I joke he should have a sponsorship with Tempur-Pedic. He needs to sleep in his own bed at night. That's not what it is.
That win in Baltimore doesn't look great right now because of their record, but that was a pretty big road win though. And I know like going into it hasn't been great, but
we defend Jared Goff here quite staunchly, my friend.
So what it is, I think, is the Lions really benefit from elite play calling. You had that with Ben Johnson. I think you still have that now with Dan Campbell, where they're running a high number of these efficiency cheat code, these play calling hacks that maximize EPA per dropback and also fantasy points per dropback and whatnot, with heavy play action, heavy under center play action, heavy motion. And Dan Campbell talked about this coming out of the week 1 game, where it's harder to do this when you're on the road with crowd noise. And we all know Arrowhead is one of the noisiest stadiums. Oh, yeah. The Chiefs' points allowed per game at home versus on the road is among the most dramatic. So this is really one of the worst possible spots for them. But yeah, I think, at home against the Buccaneers this week, a banged up Buccaneers secondary, these should go crazy.
Yeah, not a whole lot of offensive weapons in their receiving room either. We are talking to Scott Barrett, CEO and owner of FantasyPoints.com, the absolute premier fantasy analyst site. You want to get over there and get your membership, man. The tools and analysts are amazing there. Your staff is unbelievable. I do want to keep it with Michigan, men. We're talking Michigan, Detroit Lions, but there's another guy that left here. I like to say with an asterisk above his head, but Jim Harbaugh. He's kind of lost his offensive line, but he hasn't lost his love for Justin Herbert. I've seen some very funny stuff from your Twitter in regard to that relationship. How serious is that relationship? How long lasting do you see it? And how fruitful will it be for all of the offensive weapons in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm really bullish on this. This is crazy. Shout out to Coach Speak Index on Twitter. Really one of the best accounts you can follow. He pulls clips from the different coaches regarding fantasy relevant players. And this has been going on for over a year now, where I've been saying Jim Harbaugh talks about Justin Herbert the way Christians talk about Jesus Christ, or he talks about Jim Harbaugh like you're in college and you're taught your buddy just has a girlfriend and they've been dating 2 weeks and you're trapped alone with her for 30 minutes and you're just like, yeah, Jim is the nicest guy I know, and he's so funny and he's deceptively strong. I saw him bench press 500 pounds, and it's like crazy. Is that what do you?
Harbaugh's the ultimate wingman, is what you're saying.
There you go. He's just so over the top every single week, but it's true. I love Jim Harbaugh. I think the only thing more potent than doing anabolic steroids when you're a player is being coached by Jim Harbaugh with his sane belief in you and eternal optimism. And I was interviewing for an open position at Fantasy Points Data, and one of them was a player who played on a Michigan team under Jim Harbaugh, had the craziest stories. But yeah, I'm really bullish on the Chargers long term. I'm really bullish on Jim Harbaugh. The way Harbaugh talks about him, it's if I don't get him into the Hall of Fame, I won't be able to fall asleep at night. Like, this is my calling from God, is to maximize who I believe is, an easy top 5 quarterback in football.
I mean, in great success, right? Like in the pro and college ranks, right? Sure. Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith, back from the dead, and now
JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy, right? So yeah, it's not unheard of.
Is he a disrespected QB whisperer at this point?
That certainly could be the case.
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, that's another great one. I think you're seeing, it doesn't look great for Justin Herbert these last 4 weeks, but I really, you have to put that on offensive line play. The first 2 weeks he came out of the gates, he looked to me like the MVP front runner. Sure did. Last 4 weeks, easily leads all quarterbacks in pressures per game due to this injured offensive line. But, as they get healthy, and then you have Quentin Johnston, who looks like a completely different player, Ladd McConkey, who we know is great, Keenan Allen, who's not lost a step, looks great. Certainly a force to be reckoned with, I believe.
An emerging Gadsden.
I'm a big Gadsden guy.
Arande, Vidal looks fantastic.
Really does.
I mean, it's kind of wild. You lose. Was Slater an All-Pro? But I know he's at least been to a couple Pro Bowls. You lose him. You lose one of the elite young tackles in Alt. But I think Alt's supposed to be back in a little bit. They really need him to come back to keep that momentum. That AFC West is a tough division.
I really thought Herbert was overrated until Harbaugh got there. And Harbaugh, it's funny because you don't talk about him as the Sean Payton or the QB whisperer, but as we throw these names out, he's gotten quite a bit out of quite a few QBs. I got a question for you. Dan Campbell or Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, both great all-time players, coaches. I would go with Campbell just because of, the underlying metrics of the play action, the motion, like that's just such an efficiency cheat code. Whereas Harbaugh is maybe more, unquantifiable in, the belief he has for a player. And, it sounds like a guy who just listens to motivational speaking audio tapes 24/7.
He's a big Tony Robbins guy, isn't he? Hey, Scott, so. Big fan. You listen to your pod, School of Scott. Back in the day, you and JJ and Pat Carrain and stuff. Really excited to have you here. Quickly, can you tell me a little bit of something about a guy from south of the border in college, one Jaxon, Smith, and Njigba, and what you think about his emergence right now?
You're a little bit of a fan, I hear.
Dynasty quarterback, dynasty wide receiver what right now?
Wide receiver 2, I think.
Okay.
I had a little bit of a roller coaster ride on Jaxon Smith-Njigba because coming out of college, I was hyping him to the moon. I was saying this is Keenan Allen reincarnated. This is the greatest slot wide receiver prospect of all time. And I said that to Jim Nagy, and he laughed in my face when I said that. And it looked bad. And, I think we have to blame that on Shane Waldron, who may or may not be a terrorist. But he looks unbelievable right now.
Terrorist.
You look at the stats, 4.61 yards per route run. Only one other player's over 3. The stat I had was 4.24 yards per team pass attempt. That is far and away the most by any player since the release of Beach Boys' Pet Sounds.
Great album.
1966. No one else above 3.5. So once again, it's orders of magnitude better than anyone else. Best wide receiver season ever. And so I'm looking at the numbers, and you have Sam Darnold leading in all the quarterback stats that are typically the stats are this guy should be the MVP. EPA per drop back, completion percentage over expectation, catchable throw rate, all these stats you could find at Fantasy Points Data. Shout out to us. But here's the thing. That's a great bet, by the way, 50-1 Sam Darnold MVP. But me, I love the long shot.
Hell yeah.
And as an analytics guy, why wouldn't you give it to JSN, who comprises 46% of Sam Darnold's passing yards, the second most by any player since the 1970s. The bottom line here is just this is a generational, all-time great wide receiver season. Will it stick? I don't know, but if the season ended today, I would vote JSN 400 to 1 MVP. The odds you can get at DraftKings Sportsbook 400 to 1. I'm a nerd. I'm an analytics guy, so that's probably controversial, but that's how insane this season is.
Hey,
when was the last non-quarterback to win?
Was it Adrian Peterson? Did he win it?
I think so. His 2,000 yards.
I don't know. I'm not good with trivia.
Scott, so I want to ask
AP
you.
2012.
2012. That's
2,097 yards.
Yes. So Darnold may, like, as far as like locking on to a quarterback, to a wide receiver one, it's kind of him, Matt, and Aaron, right? For supporting like that pure number one target. I mean, look at like Jeff last year, and yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were sleeping on Darnold, and he's what, quarterback 12 or 13, like, you know, he's not getting you the running stats, but for where you got him and you drafted him in a backup, he's outperforming a lot of folks that you.
I think the most important thing is that he was able to supply JJ great games last year, and this year
great games.
Now he's taking JSN, who had this big resurgence.
So the next level.
Well, he broke out finally at the end of last season.
He sure did.
But now, like, I was going through your tweets today, and some of the analytics that you put out on JSN were just absolutely mind-blowing. But we only have you for a couple more minutes here. Got a couple questions in the chat here. Our guy Biggins wants to know a lot of weird, you know, fourth-string wide receiver stuff going on right now. Are you going Kayshon Boutte versus the Titans or Sterling Shepard Monday Night Football?
That's a good question.
At Ford Field.
Yeah, I would go with Booty. Shout out to Fantasy Points Data. We have a stat called ASS, average separation score, which measures how good a player is at getting open. Kayshon Boutte, you know, perfect name for this.
Yep.
Ranks top 5 in ASS over the last 3 weeks. But the bottom line is way more of a ceiling than Sterling Shepard. There have been games where Godwin's out and Evans is out, and Cade Otton's the guy, not Sterling Shepard. Not much of a ceiling from him. Boutte just last week showed us what his ceiling can be, and it can be very high for, you know, a player who at one point at LSU was considered like a top 5 lock, and then he gets hurt. So yeah, I like the ceiling with Boutte. I would go with Boutte.
Hey, let's keep there real fast, because I think there's something interesting to point out right now. And I love Dynasty, Scott, and I know you do too. Now, Tez Johnson coming out too small, right? Oregon didn't care, right? Look at the points that he put up in college, receptions, you know, very fast, incredibly shifty. And like, we've seen small guys be successful in small doses. Mike Evans getting up there in age. Dad mode from earlier this year, right? Godwin may not ever be the same. Let's face it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like it when a guy comes off IR and then has to go back on IR a week later, especially when the team kind of has to push him forward because of injury. Might be too early. I'm a little worried about that. Who's the number 2 in Tampa moving forward, right?
That's a good question.
Is it Tez?
I think this week it's Cade Otton is the one. Because just it's a long shot. You saw this last year. When the other guys were at, like, Cade Otton never did anything else throughout his career, but that 3 or 4 week stretch, I think he had 21 fantasy points in each game. I would bet on him being the 1 again, but then Tez Johnson being the 2. I think because of this size and also how he was used in college, he's never going to be more than a 65% route share guy, but he can do damage.
Poor man's Jamo.
5'6" Jamo.
I think he's a little more yak and short underneath stuff than deep threat, but
he's like the kid from Houston.
But yeah, you saw it.
There's a very close comp to
Tank Dell, great
Tank.
One. Okay.
Tez, Tank.
Yeah. Again, yeah, and you look at the numbers at Oregon. Tez Johnson's like yards per route run, first down per route run, historically great numbers. So he can do it at least on a per route basis. I think the big question with him is how many routes does he get?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
Dante151 with a super chat in here. This will help Cade Otland. Breaking news via Adam Schefter. Lions safety Brian Branch. 1-game suspension was upheld upon appeal.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Scott, before we go real quick? Have you ever wanted to open face slap Juju Smith-Schuster? Because I have.
Yeah, not a
What
fan
year
of
was
his
that? When
TikToks, huh?
My God, what a disappointment.
He had him in his dynasty league.
Oh,
He's still-
okay.
he's still
There's
better.
that. Yeah. My probably worst article I ever wrote at one point was Juju Smith-Schuster is a top 5 dynasty asset. So
But you weren't the only one. I mean, I could think
He
of
was
the
like
best
20 when
dynasty.
he did it.
Right, the best dynasty analysts in the world were saying the same thing. Like what he was doing was amazing,
Such a young age, too.
and then just
what that was, by the way, was just Antonio Brown dictating coverage and leaving him open.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Well, hey, it's been an awesome 20 minutes with you. We appreciate you so much. Again, Scott Barrett of the fantasypoints.com. Check him out, fantasypoints.com. He's the CEO and the big cheese owner over there. These guys are crushing it. We appreciate you so much. We're really enjoying this partnership, and we look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
Yeah. Thanks. Anytime.
Appreciate you.
thanks, Scott.
All right, guys, keep those questions coming in here. We're going to hang out for the next 30 minutes and just jerk it. Have some fun, guys. I've got a question that I really did want to ask him that we got to let him go. I'm going to ask you guys. This Jaxon Dart kid looks for real, right? The moxie.
Aura.
He's got aura. He's able to really navigate the pocket very well. He's
soaker.
elusive. He's quick. He's got all the different throws that you need in the bag, but he doesn't have a wide receiver. Malik Neighbors is gone. You saw him when he first came in. He was utilizing the hell out of the tight ends. You get Darius Slayton goes down. Wan'Dale Robinson, I don't think he's cut to be a number one. You see little Jordan Humphrey, we talked about it before the show, had 80% snap count this last week. Is there a wide receiver to you guys that you would be putting in your starting lineup in New York?
No,
Not even Wan'Dale after what we saw, 20 points and
Yeah, like
score.
39 points and then 2 points the next week, you know?
I mean, he's a target hog. I mean, we talked about him earlier in the season on his targets just don't equate to fantasy points. But when you have a team like this in the New York Giants, where I'd never thought that I'd say this as long as I've been alive, is that I'm excited to watch the New York Giants play more football with Cam Scatterbo and Jaxon Dart. There's got to be someone on that offense, right?
So, are they 500 right now? I think they are. And if I'm New York,
Maybe 2-4.
I think they are 2-4.
no, I think they're 3-3.
Oh no, that's right. Didn't they win one with?
Yeah, they beat
No,
Dallas.
they are 2-4.
They're 2. Okay,
they won-
All right, so they've won 2 games with 2 out of 3 games with Jaxon Dart, both at home. Now, I think at the trade deadline, they don't have a number 2 receiver. It doesn't hurt to try to bring somebody in at value, a veteran. I don't know. Like if I'm New York,
Wyatt in the chat says, thoughts on reports of Giants targeting Waddle and Olave as possible trade targets.
Good timing right there.
Either one of them would work. That
Which
would
one
be
of those do you like more?
Waddle, but you're gonna.
Who was the other name?
Olave. I think Olave has some room. I mean, we never
I
seen anything from him.
honestly,
Top the QB
Olave
play.
might be. I don't know, man. Waddle's pretty damn good too, but either one of those guys would be a hell of a dynamic one for this year. But you're going to put that person next to Malik Neighbors next year.
Yeah, but the thing is, with that is, you can't invest a lot in Olave, and New Orleans knows that. They also know that it may be worth the risk to not be able to pay him that much money that like a true number 1 makes, while bringing in your next quarterback next year, which they will be picking a quarterback next year. So I think Olave stays, but I mean,
Didn't they pick a quarterback this year?
They
Yeah,
did.
what? Tyler Shaw?
Yeah.
Hey, somebody finally pronounced it right.
what's his name?
It's like shook. Oh, it's not show. Everybody thinks it's show. It's shook.
I just say Shaw.
Shuh. Yeah, he
You gotta say it
shouldn't
really
have been
fast so
drafted.
people Don't realize.
Not
you're
ahead of
saying it
Shadur. That's for damn sure.
That's one of my dynasty QBs.
Oh yeah, I got him in another
wrong.
league as
Sure.
well.
Will they ever give him a chance? That's the question.
What do you got on your mind right now, guys? What do you got on your mind, chat? Hit us up. Let us know. Ask some questions. We're just hanging out at this point.
Chat's bringing up Duncan Stewart in the chat. Ravens 1-5, Chiefs 3-3. Crazy season. We touched on a little bit of this already, and it's affecting fantasy football a little bit too. With teams
What's
like the
Washington's record?
Ravens.
Is Washington 3-3?
I think
Yes.
Yep.
And-
There's some disappointing teams this year. It's a long season, but I think 2 of those teams are not making the playoffs, and one of them's
Kansas City's going to be in the Super Bowl.
Are you trying to trade for players on these teams like the Ravens with Lamar Jackson coming back and the Eagles that are like? Are you trying to trade for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in hopes
maybe
that
Zay.
that
I think I'm
bounces
maybe
back?
targeting Zay.
Flowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamar's going to come back, and you look at their schedule's trash. That team probably still goes on to win 9 games if they can keep Lamar healthy all year. I don't think that that's going to be enough to get him in the playoffs, but we're talking fantasy. And what I've seen from that team is, we've talked about this a few times, when it gets cold, when it gets down to playoff nitty-gritty time, they stop throwing the ball to the edges.
Yeah.
They start running, and they start throwing the ball up the middle, and that's why you always see Mandrews have this huge second half year after year after year. I do think that offense resurges. I think that Derrick Henry, if an owner right now is trying to get rid of him on the cheap, I like that, because if you look at that schedule, it sucks. Saquon's schedule is pretty darn nice as well. That's another guy where he hasn't gotten a ton of work. We talked about it in the beginning of the show. He's kind of been touchdown dependent. But at any point, that Philly offense can explode, much like the way that we saw it last year. Calling
Right.
for the head coach's job, and the next thing you know, they're cruising to a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. I like your point about Henry. I think he's a target you can get
I
some
don't wanna
value
pay
for.
a lot for him, but
No,
we
no.
saw.
See, this is the
I don't know if you
point
have
of the
to.
season right here, though. Exactly. You don't have. This is the point in the season where prices aren't what you drafted them
For
for
certain.
anymore. In
Right.
one league, I just recently traded. I was desperate for running backs. I traded Brock Bowers and Jameson Williams for Quinshon Judkins and Bayshall Tootin, who's my backup to ETN. And would I think that I would be trading Bowers, who is my second-round pick, for... I have Tyler Warren in that league, by the way, so I'm fine at tight end. But
You really
for a
dislike
player,
Bowers at this
like,
point, don't
right?
you?
No, I'm getting rid of him, and it's the point in the league where, like you said, you're not gonna have to pay what you think you're gonna have to pay for some of these players because the prices come down. People are panicking, and people want to get rid of these players.
Big time.
So next year, when Brock Bowers is potentially in the 7th round, you going back to the well, Brendan?
That's where you gotta ride the waves. I have to. Chase Brown too. I'll be going back to the Chase Brown well. Fool
Yeah,
me
Chase
twice.
Brown's going to be ultra cheap next year, and you're going to get Joe Burrow back. You're going to get the team that you thought you were getting this year because they just missed it last year. They're pissed. They're going to be pissed for 2 straight years.
I'm pissed.
I think the Bengals offense, when they get Burrow back, is going to remind you why you drafted and used the capital on these players that you did. Because where does Jamar Chase go right now? Is he a first-round pick? I don't even know if he's a first-round
Jamar
pick.
Chase?
Yeah,
Yes.
through
You
through
still
6
go first
weeks.
round.
Look at his
Or are you
numbers.
saying like if we redrafted
If
him
we're
right now?
drafted going into week 7,
Guess what wide receiver he is right now? If you don't know, because I checked it this morning and it would
8?
surprise you.
4?
Brandon, do you know?
He had,
Yes.
he had 1 or 2 big games.
What?
What number is
wide
Jamar sitting
receiver
right
Jamar
now?
Chase is on the
Oh,
season?
I don't know, like 12 or
Wide
something.
receiver 6.
6. Okay,
Jamar
because
Chase
he had
is
a big
still
game
wide
last
receiver
week.
But that's not necessarily top 10 pick.
Well,
Right,
or the number 1 overall. Like,
No,
No.
he's definitely not leading up to number 1 overall, and
No.
he
Who
won't.
Who would you
period.
take number 1 right now?
Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, either one.
but Bijan was my number 1 overall pick at the beginning of the
Puka
year.
Nakua when healthy.
Puka Nacua when healthy is a
not
great
There's some
deal
question
with
on him
him.
right now, isn't there?
Yeah, so
I-
he
Can we
is
not
dealing
talk
with the
about it?
ankle injury. Yeah.
I might have to put a hand up here and we don't know. CD was injured, but I ripped into Brandon Kaz earlier in the season when he had
Everybody
to take
did.
Puka
Everybody in
over
this room.
CeeDee Lamb.
That not named Jeff ripped on.
And
Good work, Jeff.
So you were doing you would take CD Lamb over Puka?
no,
I
he
said
would
he's the
take
number one
Puka
wide
No,
over
he said
CeeDee
before the
Lamb
season started that
before
Puka was going to be the
season
number 1 wide receiver.
And I would have been with you.
Hey, that's your guy
My
right
man.
there.
So I'm in a dynasty as well, and my Puka Nakua story is quite crazy because I had Cooper Kupp in my dynasty league, and 2 weeks prior to the season starting, he's questionable with an ankle injury.
You're hearing all those stories about this kid from the 5th round.
I didn't even hear any stories, and I'm just like, well, dang, he's out. I got to have someone to replace him. So I'm just going through their roster. I'm like, who is Puka?
Nashua.
And I'm like, what is he doing listed as the
Nakao.
number 2 receiver on their depth chart? So I picked him up. And the first week, he went crazy.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, I mean, people were spending 90% of their fab money to get him after week 1.
I drafted him in the last round on purpose.
Of a keeper league?
Of a keeper league. And I
Nice.
still have him to this year. I have him in another dynasty. I took him in the 4th round. I traded a pick. I traded a 3rd round to move into the 4th and get the 1st overall pick when the camp news hit about Cooper's injury to pick him because Derek Brown from Twitter was on him hard early.
So you knew about him early then.
I did. I got him early and made sure I got him in every league.
I
that year.
There was
drafted.
always that one person that when you saw they picked up Puka and you were like, who?
Yeah.
Who? He didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
a picture in your fantasy app, and you're like, who is this guy?
I have him in both my dynasty leagues. I have him for a career.
Is he the greatest waiver pickup of all time? Maybe
Well,
Kamara,
I mean, the greatest,
maybe...
like, it's either him or Antonio Brown. It's
Yeah.
because Antonio Brown, I believe, went in our 5th round of our draft, our all rookie draft.
Shout out Brandon Susie. I think Susie picked him like 3rd.
He was all over.
He
him.
loved Antonio
Yeah.
Brown like
Yeah.
early.
And I'm like,
and
dude, I
stuck
think
by
it's
him.
Emmanuel Sanders, bro. I think it's going to be Emmanuel.
I mean,
Sanders.
Emmanuel had a career.
He did have a career.
He had a career.
Well, and he's still sane,
That's true.
so he's got that going for him.
Yeah.
Still has unfrosted.
Or at least
machine.
out of the media.
Shout out Cracker of the Week.
Ron Cava in the chat. Trade AJ Brown for Sutton? Question mark.
Yeah.
See, that's really interesting because I have Rashee Rice like everywhere, right? And 2 weeks ago, I got the A.J. Brown offer for Rashee Rice. And it feels like, okay, this could be a really good deal because, I think that at some point the Phillies, Eagle, that offense is going to take off. But I held out, and then he offered me Sutton, which I did take. So to me, I like Sutton over A.J. a little bit. But, man, all 3 of those guys, where would you rank them? And I know he's just asking about A.J. and Sutton, but where would you rank those 3 in terms of how bad you'd want to own them?
Wait, who are the 3? I got
A.J.
two.
Brown,
I'll put them
Sutton, and
ranked
Rashee
for you
Rice.
right here.
Oh, and
I'd
Rashee?
I'd put Rashee Rice number 1.
Okay.
I believe that he's going to come back. He's going to be phenomenal for this offense. We're seeing vintage Mahomes right now. He's 30. We're saying vintage, but we're seeing vintage Mahomes. This is where it gets tough, but I think I'm putting Cortland Sutton 2 in that.
Solid. There's
Flip
your
it.
answer right there.
Flip it.
You're putting A.J. Brown 2? Or give us
It's
yours.
still A.J. Brown 1.
A.J.
put-
Brown
Because if you
one.
believe that Philly will be back, and they're just playing possum right now, trying to limp into the playoffs, and they're gonna try to finish the year strong like they do every year for the past since AJ's been there, then you believe that that's just what's gonna happen.
See, there's 2 Philly pathways that we've seen literally in the last 2 years, and
point.
one is they melt down and crumble into oblivion, and the other one is they,
Get
like
better
you
and
said,
better
get better
and
and better
better
and better and better, and then
Yeah.
win the Super Bowl. And it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle of that, but we just don't know. I just think that new play caller there. I think that they're focused on, even though Saquon isn't doing the best, not even just running the ball and winning games, but kind of taking that Chiefs approach of doing the least they can to not lose and
Yeah.
to win games. And that's hurting them right now. Maybe they change, but I think with Bo Nix, young QB, they're trying to do a little more gunslinger offense, even though Sean Payton likes to keep it conservative. I think that I would just rather have Bo Nix throwing the ball to my guy than Jalen Hurts.
So let me say something about Sutton, and I've watched. There's been a lot of Broncos games on this year, and I love how much he gets targeted. One of his main concerns coming out of college was what?
Speed.
Hands.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Hands. Athlete, uber athlete, jumps out of the gym, incredible broad jump at 6'4", 210, ran a 4.5 something.
4.5.
Yeah, and so that gives him like a 90% speed score. Elite athlete, right? The knock was hands.
Yep.
And that's what I'm seeing this year.
The
is
real knock,
dr-
though, was quarterback. I mean, once he got there, he's just never had
Sure,
anybody
but what I'm
throwing
saying
the
is
rock.
this year, what I see is a lot of drops.
Yeah. I haven't watched enough of those games. To
Like,
to
I'm
see him
curious
drop
what
it.
his
No,
drop
you're
rate.
right.
Serious. I'm curious what his drop rate is right now. That being said, maybe the targets make up for it. Maybe he comes around. Still, he was wide receiver last year, 12 or something. He looks like he's going to be right back there this year. AJ has to fight to get there, but points per game I could see being much higher from AJ from here on out. I'm still taking the ceiling on AJ.
That'll be a very interesting one to watch coming down to the end of the season.
All right.
That Rashee Rice ceiling, though, is undeniable. I've got one here. Which
Is it the same though with Xavier Worthy?
I think so. I
Okay.
don't think Worthy is as much of a playmaker as.
Well, he
not
started the
to diss
season with
Jamo,
Worthy there
but
last year, and he looked like one of the top 8 wide receivers in the league. Now, obviously,
How much
Worthy
was
got
that
a
him
chance.
supporting his boy fresh off of freaking?
Well, I also think a lot of it was Worthy didn't know the playbook yet. He was
100%.
young, and
Yep.
he got a whole chance to be the number 1 for the majority
He's
of the
the
year
Jamo.
last year.
And he was a
He
stud.
is the
And Worthy
Jamo
was
of that team.
incredible.
This is Jamo and
Yeah.
Amon-Ra. This is plain day Jamo.
Okay.
and
Yeah,
Amon-Ra.
I
see
didn't want to
that.
move
There-
Rishi, but we needed some wins in that league, so I made the move. This next question is from the Hound House. Honestly,
This one's interesting here.
if you got a chance to see Scott Barrett, I think you know what his answer would be, but we just kind of preface this asking where Jamar Chase would be drafted right now. Would you trade JSN for Chase Brown in a dynasty league?
No, Jamar Chase.
Oh, Jamar Chase, excuse me, not Chase Brown. Yes, trade Chase Brown for JSN. But no, would you trade JSN for Jamar Chase? I got to be honest with you. I wouldn't trade JSN this year, and I'm at the point right now where I'm not sure if I'd trade him in a dynasty league.
Right. I think this is easily you keep JSN in this year and redraft no matter what anybody offers you.
How about a
this
dynasty
point.
league, though?
But a
That's
dynasty.
a tough question.
This is very tough. This is where it gets down to what Brandon was talking about earlier with Darnold and is he their guy? Can they sustain something? Because you know they're probably not looking to sign Darnold to another huge deal or anything down the line. And if Burrow can stay healthy,
Can
the
he?
Burrow
Can
that is the
he?
big thing. And the Burrow Chase connection might be just the best connection QB wide receiver in all of football. So I would want to have Jamar Chase down the road. If you are in a dynasty and you're not looking to win the championship this year, I would make that trade and get Jamar Chase. But
Here's my
Brandon, what do you think?
here's my thing. In dynasty,
Yep.
when guys put up elite seasons, like truly elite, like it looks like JSN's going to do, and Jamar has done, right?
They don't have any JSN this year.
You take youth. And that's not always the best thing to do. But you got, and it's hard to have more than a 3-year window in fantasy, in dynasty. But guys like JSN, what is JSN 23 yet? Isn't he 21?
If
when
he
he
could give you that 4-year Michael Thomas window, which I think he can,
sure looks like it.
that's what you're looking for. And Jamar Chase has already kind of given you that window.
Right now, what you're seeing
But
flat
he's
out is
super
the
young.
best 2 route runners in the league are
Jamar
wide
Chase is
receiver 1
23,
and
by
wide
the way.
receiver 2.
Yeah.
No, JSN
Jamar Chase is
23, by the way.
Yeah,
JSN.
Jamar
Jamar Chase is
Jamar
23.
Chase is 25.
Chase is 24, 25, 25.
JS
25
yeah,
and, like-
Chase is 25
Yep.
and JSN is 23.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I feel like the only reason you actually make that trade, if you feel like you're moving off of Jamar Chase, and because that's what it would be. I mean, it's still an upgrade.
It's
especially
for
when
this
you're-
year.
But are you?
Well,
It
for
sounds like you're
dynasty, for
saying
dynasty.
you're moving off.
Right,
of the
but I'm saying
Bengals
for
and you're
dynasty, you
moving-
still got to play for championships.
But you're moving. Are you
Yeah.
saying you're moving off the Bengals and you're moving on to the Sea Chickens?
I mean, it's just what could you possibly get in the package, alongside of that?
Well, it's a
that
straight
deal?
up.
I try to
deal,
get
bro.
more.
It's
I-
a straight
no
up.
doubt.
Well, of
And-
course.
and
You
then
try.
But we're hypothetical on this.
Oh, yeah,
it's
for
a
sure.
straight up deal. And I got to say, that's one of the hardest decisions I would have come across my desk.
Then you would kind of
What do
just
I
stay
do?
put, because I mean they're both top receiver value, and you can't tell whether or not either or is going to end up having that big of an edge on the other, that it's not really worth that type of risk to maybe go
That's
up
right.
maybe 15, 20 points maybe a season.
Sure. And in fantasy, in dynasty, and we're talking dynasty, we got a little dynasty segment going here. In dynasty, one of the hardest things to do is to remain patient. And like you have to stick to your priors on players. You have a plan. You've built a team.
I'm really bad at that.
Yeah, and
I love to
It's
trade.
so tough for
love
multiple
to trade.
years to stick with a guy that you believe is a good prospect. Like you're
Right.
saying.
So glad
But
I
guess
traded
who's still
Dallas
on my
Goedert
team
at the
this
end of
year?
last year.
Because I was patient with them. Diggs, right? Like guys like that are what flesh out your roster, right? And yeah, like on the back of your roster, out of your top 10, your starters, you can be less patient. But it's those core players, those role players, and those year after year studs. I mean, that's why in Dynasty, more times than not, in the first round, I'm trying to get a wide receiver that was drafted in the first round or the very early second over a third round running back, over most second round running backs.
Yeah.
That's who I'm that's who I'm picking. I'm going for those receivers.
Yeah.
Because their hit rate is so high.
And both of those guys have that pedigree.
That's right.
It's really a great question. I'd probably take all week to not know what to do. To be honest, all week long.
to toss a coin.
Shout out Matt Broder, former pitcher for the Michigan Wolverines, in the chat. You can catch him Monday morning from 8 to 10 on the First to the Whistle Lions pregame, weekly roundup. And this weekend, obviously, the Lions don't play until Monday night, so join us 4:15 to 6:15 at Second Best for that pregame show. Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. Then we'll have the watch party with the heavyweights over at Gillies on Woodward, right next to the iconic Blue nightclub. And then myself will be joined by my old school partner Stick, along with KG and young Justin, returning from the game. We'll be there doing that post-game show still at Gillies, so get down there and join us. It's going to be rocking. If you ever been
Sounds
down
like a
there.
nice time.
I'm telling you,
It
man.
is.
Listen,
Come out there,
it
man.
is. But get there early because it's Monday night. It's Gillies. You don't want to get there late and not have a great seat. So get there early and come down and join us. Let's keep
Shout out Broder here though, 6-0 in our Woodward Sports
Dude.
Fantasy League. Tell us your secrets, Broder. How
Bro,
do you
and
do it?
you know what his secrets are? Is sending out very insulting trades. Dude,
Is he that guy?
No,
He's
he
that
sent
guy.
me.
He asked us if we wanted to have a cash out option on the season after 6-0. So
I wish.
I
no,
respect it though, as that guy.
before
myself.
the season started, or like right before the draft, like a half hour, he's like, "Hey, I'll send you my second and third rounder for your first," or something like that. I'm like, "Wait, how does this work?" In hindsight, I should have taken it. Anything could have helped this.
A lot of
awful
landmines in the
team.
first.
Oh my goodness.
We do have a start and sit in the chat.
What we got, Jeff?
My boy Wyatt said, start Kenneth Walker versus Houston or Jordan Addison versus Philadelphia.
It's a strong question.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, I think Addison. Wait, who's at home?
in Eagles and Vikings, I believe it's Vikings.
So there's something that most people don't realize
Yeah,
in the Seahawk backfield. All right. Charbonnet missed week 3. Right. Aside from week 3,
God,
how
Charbonnet's
many
so boring.
How many weeks do you think out of the 5 that both backs were healthy? How many weeks do you think Kenneth Walker outsnapped Zach Charbonnet?
I'm gonna go
2.
with 2. And a funny story.
No,
Actually,
4 out of 5. Charbonnet has played.
There's nothing
more
funny
snaps.
or entertaining about
Listen,
Charbonnet.
Okay, we get you. 58 to 40% week 1, Charbonnet. 55 to 35 week 2, Charbonnet. 47 to 50.
I don't understand
Kenneth
it.
Walker beats him just by 3%. Week 5, 56 to 44, Charbonnet. Week 6, 60 to
This is an abomination.
35.
They're
Brandon,
both
what were we
Charbonnet.
saying in the beginning of the
terrible
show?
right now. Like they're both averaging what? Like they're 2 of the least
Well,
efficient
when-
backs
when-
in the league
but
right
when
now.
you
Use
ha-
your good players. Is
But
what
if
I'm
you have
saying.
one of them getting the touches, they seem to be just fine, and they seem to
That's
have to
right.
be a starter in your lineup. But when they're
when
both
they're
healthy,
together, you're a loser.
here's like the thing.
I have to start Charbonnet. One of my team is so bad.
That sucks. I'm sorry. I have to start Walker, bro.
So I had Kenneth Walker last season in our dynasty league. He's in my dynasty league. The dude that chatted that. That's my boy Wyatt.
Did you trade him to him?
Huh?
You traded him to him last year?
Yeah, so-
I traded him away in both my dynasty leagues as well, dude. Get him away from me.
So I traded him during the draft. I traded Kenneth Walker and I want to say it was like a second for 108. And then
Okay.
I turned 108 into Jared Goff and 201 and a whole bunch of other stuff and got RJ Harvey out of it.
Kind of sounds like you traded Matt Stafford.
Yeah, but, I mean, the thing is with Kenneth Walker and especially the Seattle backfield, it's like I feel like the offensive line will block better for Charbonnet, and they won't block when Kenneth Walker is getting the touches.
It does
That's
seem
what,
like
that's what it seems like because
I think Kenneth Walker's trying to be that like Le'Veon Bell, little patience in the backfield and take his time, and this just isn't the offensive line to do that on.
Okay, I could see that. Here's the thing. Hey, Wyatt, cover your ears. Hey, Jeffrey, trade back for him because next year he's going to get a 1 year prove it and probably kick ass with a new team that
the
fits
new
his
team.
offense. Yeah.
With the new team, for sure.
The guy's skill is out of this world.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. Go green.
He's my cousin.
But back to the
green.
start sit, though. Back
He
to
is
the
your cousin.
start sit,
He's my
because
cousin.
I think this Houston defense is a force to be reckoned with. I've been saying it since before the season started. That being said, they are more shutting down receivers than they have been running backs recently. I would go Jordan Addison on this just because Philly's been giving up a lot of points recently and a lot of scoring from wide receivers against Philadelphia. Where are you guys
Especially
on
with
this
shadow
Addison
coverage on
A.J. Brown.
yeah, on Jefferson.
Non-PPR.
Or no, on Jefferson, yes.
Non-PPR, I'm starting K9.
Yeah, for
half
sure.
point
For
or
sure.
PPR.
100%.
I think you start Addison. The ability that Addison has to get free for 40-plus yard plays. You got bonuses in your league.
When's
haven't
this getting the ball out?
When was the last time we saw Kenneth Walker rip off a 40-yarder? First half of last season?
No, I think he had.
He won this.
Did he have
No,
one?
yeah, in his first game.
I mean,
that,
the guys look
that was
good.
the only thing he's done.
The guy on that primetime game was Thursday night against Arizona. I mean, he's running the ball out there. Looks phenomenal. You're wondering why doesn't this guy get 25 touches a game? But like
Speaking
you
of
said,
Arizona, what the hell are you supposed to do with that backfield? Damari Mercado, that poor guy.
I say you just
or
don't
Mari
touch him.
Demercado.
I think they're what on their sixth string right now.
I can't.
Six, seven?
I can't stand up for that guy. I mean, I picked him up because I'm thinking he's gonna be the guy.
And you started
and then
him?
He drops the ball.
Did you start him?
I started him. And, and
I
damn it, I
started
was
too.
mad.
I know people that lost on that.
Like you can't drop the ball. Like I'm sorry, but
That
like,
was
and
A
really,
then
week,
you see
a
he's not
week
playing
after
now.
another guy did it.
Yeah.
Who was that?
That was a week before. That was
Yeah,
Adnan
he did
Mitchell.
it. But you,
Yeah,
I
Adnan.
guarantee you that Demercado was in the locker room laughing at AD Mitchell, and then a week later he does it
They
himself.
probably showed him the video at film practice. I guarantee it.
Oh,
But I mean,
and
DiMercado
over and over.
The
But
coach,
Bam Knight.
Coach Gannon.
Well, now
right?
it's Bam Knight, Zonovan Knight. It's former Lion, in fact. It's
Yeah.
not Michael Carter, who actually had a first good game as the bell cow, if you will.
It was
I
a
hope you
good
sold
game.
him high.
He had a
when you
touchdown.
him.
I
tried to
mean,
get rid
sell
of him
all
in
of
my
those
league.
guys high.
Yeah,
Now, my
I
question-
picked up and started Bam Knight. I got a little bit of touchdown luck with it.
Is
I had to. It was
is
terrible.
anybody
I'm not
trying
proud of
to
it.
pick up Trey Benson right now?
He should be on your roster.
No, I'm saying like in a trade, because this is somebody that probably people have forgotten that they really have. They might not know what they have because a lot of people just got him as a
You could
handcuff.
probably get him for cheap then.
I think Trey Benson might be a target in some leagues. If you're 4-2 and you can take a week or two and give somebody up, a fourth receiver you don't need. You need a running back. Wait a couple of weeks, few weeks until you get Benson back. I think he'll be fine in that offense. You know.
Okay, so he's got however many games to prove he's worth anything, but even, a team like Atlanta with a guy coming off of 1,000-yard rookie season and Tyler Algier goes out and picks a Bijan when it's in your face. So what I'm saying is that team has to surround Kyler if they got to give him one more year, right? You just paid him last year, and
You mean Jacoby?
you're hilarious.
Dude crushed me. Jacoby Brissett. I lost to Jacoby Brissett.
Oh no.
And I was so out of it this season. Like, I'm not on my game. Bro, I would have absolutely identified that this guy had no starter, and Jacoby Brissett would have been on my roster, and I would have been playing no quarterback.
I would not be
Against
surprised
Woodward.
That's what you gotta do as
whatsoever.
the host of the Fantasy Jerks. You gotta be a fantasy jerk. That's what we do.
Dude,
around
I'm
here.
trying to be a manager jerk right now, and I'd rather be a fantasy jerk, to be quite honest.
Benson's not happening.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, Anson.
You don't
shall
believe in
see.
his. You don't believe in his ceiling. At all?
I've made my case clear on Benson a couple times. I just don't think he has the vision. He's really athletic. He's got the right size, requisite
Very athletic, that's what I
athleticism.
was gonna
But
say.
he
You're an
reminds me
athlete
of
guy.
Kene Nwangwu, who we had a Kene Nwangwu sighting last weekend. Great punt return.
We also had a sighting of an old man. I think it's time for dad mode.
Oh, and it is. And this is more than a sighting. This is an opportunity. An opportunity for somebody that used to put his knife in our back all the time in Detroit. This week's dad mode, this segment of dad mode, I'm pretty excited about. It's brought to you by Ben Johnson, fighting for you. And Manchego's Cheese Shop, fighting for cheese. This week's dad mode is currently wide receiver number 13. He is averaging 15.2 yards a
it
carry
be?
with 3 tuds. He is 32.8 years old.
That's dad mode.
Yeah,
Dad
he
mode
has
approved.
a Taco Bell in his locker room
Wow.
and at his home.
And his home.
And he
Free
has
contracts?
won Mr. Matt White Grill, Serta Sleepin' Stafford, chucking the rock to him as his number 1 while Puka's out for
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me
just
that.
a week.
Okay.
Just a week.
I can take a week. I can take
All right,
a week.
we can
I
take
can
a week.
handle a
Take a
I can
week.
take a week.
Wide receiver 13. Last year, wide receiver 9 with Aaron Rodgers chucking. Wide receiver 15. Wide receiver 5. Wide receiver 2 are his last 5 years of performance. 10 consecutive years of top 15 wide receiver or better for Devontae Adams.
Is that who it is?
It's Devontae Adams.
Let us see the man, dad mode. Now, I have to be very clear here with all of you, as I have known and been a friend of this man to my left here for, well, some decades now. And there was a receiver that came out of Ole Miss, and I was assured he'd be a bust because he can't escape press coverage. Did I remember that correctly?
Is
You were
Emmanuel?
you hated Devontae Adams when he came in.
No, he was Fresno.
Yeah, Fresno State.
Oh wait, who? No, you hated Devontae though.
Oh, I hated Devontae.
Yeah, so Ole Miss, I
Yeah.
got the schools wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember you hated him.
Right.
You were telling he was going to be a bust.
Well, Derek Carr, right? His target competition was very little, and small conference
But
competition.
much like QJ, struggled his first 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Year 3.
big time. Year 2 led the
Not
league in
relate
drops.
Quentin Johnston to the greatest route runner of all time. We're not going to.
Well,
take that
but
on
but
thumbs
the
up.
the ascent, like QJ
Right.
came out as a highly decorated
Ricky
him and
Quentin
JSN.
Johnston.
What happened
taking
that
his
year when
propaganda.
Devontae's breakout year?
Dude,
Was it-
you might have
Who
been
got
too
hurt?
young. You don't remember how bad Devontae was his
Was it
first 2
Kelly?
years.
I remember.
What-
I was
who's it,
drafting
Jeff?
him. My first. I
can
had
tell
Reggie
you.
Wayne as my first freaking wide
Year
receiver.
3.
Wedgie Rain.
Wedgie Rain. Was it Jennings that got hurt, or was Jennings already gone? Or was it?
Might have been Jordy Nelson. No?
It might have been. It was Jordy.
Look at
See?
was it
Yeah.
Jordy? He remembers when he was 10.
I think I drafted him his rookie year, and then I drafted him the year after, like the 1 year he got.
Oh, and then
hurt,
everybody
so
gave
I-
up on him.
Right.
Everybody gave
Yep.
up on him. And for the folks that got him on waivers, or he was like, yeah, it's wild. He was on dynasty waivers. Like people had completely given up, and he just turned into one of the best players of all time. One of the best wide receivers of all time. Absolute stud. Most likely gonna be in the Hall of Fame, right?
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Like that many
Yeah.
years of excellence.
Did he get a ring with Rodgers or no?
No,
I think
Rodgers
it was
got a
little late.
ring in
A
09.
little late.
Rings for receivers, that doesn't equate to being in the Hall of Fame.
But it
It's
doesn't
stats
hurt.
for them.
Sure
I mean,
don't
it doesn't
hurt.
but
No.
So I actually, the year that Devontae Adams was the #1 receiver according to fantasy points, I traded for him.
Nice.
Do you want to know who I sent away
This is exciting.
Percy
to
Harvin.
receive Devontae Adams? I'm gonna give you the year. This
All right.
is 2020.
Okay.
I want to know if you guys can guess the receiver that I traded away.
It was 1 for 1.
I'll give you a hint.
My goodness.
They're in the AFC.
Okay.
2020. What player did I send away to
Cooper
receive
Kupp.
Devontae Adams?
2020.
Oh, no,
huh?
AFC.
2020 AFC team.
2020 AFC. Are they out of the league?
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
Michael Thomas.
Most recently out the league. Like, last season he was in. This year he is not. I think he announced his retirement recently.
This is tough.
Suspense. All right, give it up.
This is great podcasting.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh.
I said
in
Odell
20?
Beckham Jr. and
Wow. Beckham was
some,
washed.
Other throw-in when he was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I received Devontae Adams, and he went on to have the best.
One of his
fantasy
2
year
wide
that
receiver
year.
1 seasons.
That was one of the biggest ruses that I think about every year when we thought about Stephon Diggs going to the Texans and C.J. Stroud was such a great rookie year. That rookie year Baker had on the Browns, and then they get Odell Beckham, and everyone thinking, oh my God, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield.
The
this is
Browns
gonna
are
be
going
best
to the
offense in
Super
league.
Bowl.
The same thing we talked about with C.J. Stroud
Chubb.
and Diggs went to Texans last year. Oh my God. There's so many mouths to feed, but they're all going to be wide receiver 1s, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. I think about that every year now. I think who's going to be that Baker Mayfield, Odell Browns team that's just going to disappoint.
Yeah.
Got another one here in the chat. And I
Okay.
really like this one. It's along the lines of the JSN Jamar Chase. Are you trading Ty Warren for George Kittle?
I'm on the Tyler Warren side.
In Dynasty or 1 year?
1 year.
In a redraft. I mean, at this
No.
point, I think everybody would trade Kittle for Tyler Warren in a dynasty. You look at the absence
And
of...
not even in redraft.
There's no passing targets in San Francisco. We're watching Kendrick Bourne become a viable receiver.
Right.
To me, I think that when Kittle comes back, he is going to be the tight end 1 the rest of the way once he's healthy. So for me, in a redraft, a guy that I loved and told you to draft, Ty Warren, I'm moving him for Kittle.
But the thing is, though, that he already has the momentum. Warren already has the momentum.
Yeah, but they don't use him in the red zone. He gets a lot of targets. Like
He's got a touchdown rush
Sure,
and 2
sure,
catches.
sure.
He's got 3 in 6 games.
But they don't.
That's
they
not
don't,
bad.
I get that, but I don't feel that they utilize him in the red zone. I've watched 2 of their games. And, I haven't watched all 6.
I'm taking health and youth.
Yeah, redraft.
And I'm a
redraft, I
Kittle
want
guy.
Kittle.
And I'm a Kittle guy.
If that's a dynasty question, I'm smashing that trade, and I'm getting rid of Kittle for Tyler Warren all day damn long.
That being said, offer me Ty Warren for, I think Koenig has him in my dynasty league.
Shout out the draft heckler.
Who has him? For Kittle, and I'll take it.
1 minute left on the 1966 Spider-Man auction, and it is up to $516. I was hoping I'd get it for a steal.
Biggins saying Kendrick Bourne was a Pro Bowler with Mac Jones in his rookie year.
Mac Jones has created a quarterback controversy in San
No, he
Francisco.
hasn't.
No, he just got himself some
No,
more.
no. The money for Purdy says there's no quarterback controversy. But the way Mac Jones has played, how do you sit that guy?
Yeah, he didn't.
How do you sit that guy, Brendan?
Well, he didn't look fantastic. Last week he was good, but the 2 picks he lost the game. It was his worst game. But Mac Jones has got himself paid. He will, like I said a couple weeks ago, I said Mac Jones will be starting for an NFL team next year.
He's one of the better backups you can get going into this
He's
season.
a starter.
So
Raiders
now-
QB next
yeah, but
season.
He's a starter, but he has to be in the right place.
But
You
going
can't
into the
go to
season-
some shitty team. He has to go to a team that just needs a quarterback.
You know how much he would feed
Like
Doc
Daniel
Bowers?
Jones to Indy.
I mean, one of the things will be interesting to see is, especially in a dynasty perspective, the quarterbacks that come out in this upcoming class, and if
I don't
quarterback-needy
love
teams-
this class. I don't love this class.
QB seem to be getting worse and worse.
Exactly. One more time, though, because we're back on air. Anson, have you changed your... Anson, got to ask you a question. Carolina Panthers, Anson. Bryce Young. Starting to come around a little bit?
Jacksonville and Carolina, frauds.
Okay.
Frauds.
Mullins.
Really?
Okay.
Oh.
Wanted to make
I
sure
think
we're
Liam
there.
Mullins legit.
Listen, I'm still changing my name to Rico Vidal, but all right.
Rick Dowdle.
No. Rick Dowdle
That's
or
it.
Rico Dowdle.
That's it. I think my son's name, my first boy,
I won the Spider-Man.
his name's going to be Rick.
I won the Spider-Man. It went a lot more.
You can call him Cool Rick. You can call him Slick Rick.
Before we get out of here, Brandon, how do you
Richie
feel
Rick.
about going up against the Titan, the top dog, the immovable force of the Fantasy Jerks League this
Biggins?
this week?
Who is it?
It's me.
It is
The Bomber.
Bring it up there. Show us who's sitting on top in the Fantasy Jerks League.
Not sitting on top. Grim is still got the better record, but the points for is where you see who's really doing the best out there.
There it
in my
is.
opinion.
So yeah, Grim Graham number 1 seed, Bomber number 2. My man Brandon Kaz in there with the 5 seed right now, and Biggins in with the what is that, the 6 or how does that?
Just scrapping his way to
Or maybe-
5
maybe
right now
Biggins is 3,
with
I
a
think.
trash team.
Now I do have to say, I'm 6th in points.
Congratulations.
Where you at
That's
over
that's
here?
What are you in points against?
10th?
I'm tied for 8th or something.
Hey guys, it's been a real pleasure.
It has. This has been fun today.
Yes, it has. Glad to be
I
back.
won Spider-Man card. I don't want to tell you how much though. We'll just shut that.
Is it more than what you wanted?
Yeah.
Spider pig, arachnid drafting for your friend. Hey Jeffrey, thanks for your support, sir.
Shout
It's a
out,
pleasure
Jeff.
having you.
Jeff's killing it right now.
He has been the MV Hefe for a full week. Crush
Jeff,
it 6
player of the
hours.
week.
On
Quickly becoming my favorite Jeff Walker.
Hey,
Player
man.
of the week for sure.
Shout
Jeff.
out to the Romeo Jeff Walker. I know you're not watching, but I might send you this clip. That brings it back. But no, seriously, big props to young Jeffrey Walker here. Crushed it for 6 hours on Friday in the Tigers stream. 6 hours, 15 innings.
Holy
then he was
crap.
back.
You guys
handling
did
the-
that? You guys hung out for that long?
50,000 live views. But then he crushed it again on Sunday for our post-game show. Again, guys, this Monday night, join us downtown. 4 to 6 will be at Second Best Bar. And then the watch party and post-game show, Monday Night Football, downtown. We're at Gillies on Woodward, so make sure you join us. On behalf of Brendan, the Bomber, Mr. Jeffrey Walker, my partner here, Brandon Kaz, I am Anson Wells. This is Fantasy Jerks, and we will be back next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the rest of the year. Thank you, Jeff.
I'm making a prediction. I'm going to beat the Bomberito this weekend.
I hope somebody does.
Plus
He's walking
350.
around here with this nose up in the air, talking about either league, Rico Dowdle for sale. Fuck. Hey, we love you guys. Get home safe tonight. Make sure you wake up with us in the morning with Sean Baligian and Maz. Get your coffee on. Get your Woodward sports on. See you later.
Peace out, joinks.